Hey guys, Chris here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be starting day 1 of the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber. Let's get started. Alright, so like I said, today is day 1 of the Advent of Cyber. So, I already did the Advent of Cyber prep track, but today is the Linux CLI shells bells. So, let's get started. Of course, there's a kickoff video or two, but we're going to pass that. All right, let's get into this introduction for day 1. The unthinkable has happened. Mick Skitty has been kidnapped. Without her, Wareville's defenses are faltering and Christmas itself hangs by a thread. But panic won't save the season. A long road lies ahead to uncover what truly happened. The Best Festival Company team has already brainstormed what to do next, and their first lead points to a Linux server called the TBFC-Web01, which is processing the Christmas wish lists. Now, somewhere within its data may lie the truth, what actually happened, what were Mick Skitty's final actions, or perhaps the clues to King Malaire's twisted vision of Eastmas. Alright, so let's go down. The learning objectives for this is to learn the basics of Linux command line, the CLI, explore its use for personal objectives and IT administration, and apply our knowledge to unveil the Christmas mysteries. Now it says connect to the machine. So before moving forward, to review the process, right, of connecting. So it says, do I need to start the attack box today? No. Do I need to start a VM today? Yes. Is there a split screen available? Yes. So is there a direct link available? No. Am I given credentials to connect directly to the VM via RDP, VNC, or SSH? Yes. So we're going to start the lab by clicking the Start Machine button below. The machine will start in split view and will take about 2 minutes to load. In case the machine is not visible, they say click the Show Split View button at the top. Once the machine loads, we'll have a terminal window that will be our Linux CLI that we'll need to type commands in. So let's start that machine up. So as our machine loads, I just want to let you guys know that it does say what our credentials are, password, the IP address, which is not yet given. It says machine_IP, and it says the SSH. And once it's answer the questions below, it's saying, I have fully successfully started my virtual machine. So when it does fully finish, we're going to say, yes, it is good. All right, so my virtual machine has fully loaded. So I'm going to check and say, yes, I have completed it. Fantastic, I have completed it. So let's go on to the next one, working with the Linux CLI. All right, so we're going to start task 2 here, where we don't have a GUI, a graphical user interface. We only have a command line interface, right? And a command line interface allows us to use and manage the system simply by typing commands in on our keyboard, right? It's not as hard as it sounds or looks, but we'll get used to it as we go along. So we can use the command echo, quotation marks, hello world, and quotation marks, to basically print whatever we put inside the quotation marks. Right, so it printed hello world. We can use ls to list the contents of the current directory. And we see here, we see all these different directories. Something to note is that we see a guides directory, which is not usually in there, and we see a readme.txt file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and see the contents of the readme. So cat, and then the file name, readme.txt. All right. So it says for all TBFC members, it says, yesterday I spotted yet another exploit on our servers. Not sure what it means yet, but Wareville is in danger. To be prepared, I'll write the security guide by tomorrow. As a precaution, I'll also hide the guide from plain view. So we know he's hiding a file, and it's going to be a guide, so it might be in the guides folder, right? So let's scroll on down here. All right, so it says that we can use the pwd command to see the home directory, or the current directory that we're in, which is home of McSkitty. Now we're going to change directories to guides by using the cd command, change directory. And we can do pwd to see exactly the location we are again. Now let's list the files in the guides to see if there's anything in there. Alright, so there's nothing in here, which makes sense since he said he was going to hide it. We can do the command ls-1a. This will show any hidden files as well as show additional details such as file permissions and file owner. Whoops, it's LA. So we can see we have a dot, 2 dots, and a guide.text file. Alright, so it's probably the guide.text file, right? So let's use the cat command we just learned to see if we can get anything out of it. Guide.text. Oh, and there's information here saying that I think King Malhare from Hopsec Island is preparing for an attack. Not sure what the goal is, but exploits on our servers are not good. Be ready to protect Christmas by following this Linux guide. And it says to check the /var/log/ directory and grep, which is just searching inside a directory or a file. And we want to look for eggs that want to hide. Check their shells for what's inside. It says, PS, great job on finding this guide. Here's your flag. So there's the first flag that we want to note down. Alright, so I just noted that down in a notepad real quick. What's next? So it tells us that we want to refer to the /var/log Linux directory, where all the security logs are stored. Every SOC analyst at the TBFC will confirm that the best way to find evil bunnies is to check the logs. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd back one directory and then cd into the var/log directory. Alright, and inside of this we are going to do ls to see the contents, and you can see there's a lot of contents in there. So we're going to look specifically at the authentication log. So we're going to grep, which is going to search, which we're going to search for failed password auth.log to search that file, and we can see, oh boy, there's a lot of them on here. Right, failed to access for Ubuntu, failed password for root, and we can see the IP address is all the same. It's a 192.212.178.137. So we can see a bunch of login attempts. Since we see a lot of different login attempts, we're now going to follow McSkitty's guide and look for exploit and eggshells with the find command. So we're going to do find/home/sockmiss-name, and we're going to look for egg. So we see here that there is a /home/2025/eggstrike.sh. .sh extension contains CLI commands that are called shell scripts. Such scripts are used by both IT teams to automate tasks and attackers to run malicious commands. cd into, or cd back, cd into the home directory, sockmiss, if I can spell, sockmiss 2025. Alright, so we're going to cd into the home directory, the sockmiss directory inside the home directory, and the 2025 directory inside sockmiss inside home. So changing to this directory, we can do, for example, ls to see all files in here. You can see quite a few files, or we can see already a wishlist.txt file, which might be useful. So we're going to go and do cat and do eggstrike.sh. So it says Egg Strike version 0.3 2025, Sir Bane Hopsec. It tells us that it's going to right on the screen basically show us what's in the wish list. It's going to sort, and then it looks like it's going to send the output, being the unique orders, to the TCP/dump.txt. Then it's going to remove the wishlist.txt and echo Christmas is fading. The MV eastmas.txt wishlist.txt will replace the original file with eastmas.txt and echo saying Eastmas is invading. And here's another flag for us. So we're going to copy this and put it on our notepad wherever we have that. It does show us here that there's more features that we can use, right? We can see that these little up and down symbols are known as the pipe, which allows us to basically send the output from the first command to the second command. We can see we have single direct arrows or double direction arrows. This is to override a file and append it to the end. So we have one there. Do we have any others? We don't. We can also see that we can use the double ampersand sign to run the second command if the first was successful. So for example, they have here where we're going to move eastmas.txt to wishlist.txt end to end. So if those are successful, it's going to print this. So now let's get into Sir Bane attack. So now it's clear that the server has been breached and Christmas wishlist has been replaced with an Eastmas one. Although you found no clue of what happened to McSkitty, at least you know the attackers were there. You can see how Sir Bane replaced the wishlist by visiting http://10.64.146.240:8080 from the VM's web browser. So let's open that and actually go to that site. All right, the site's loaded. Let's go to that website, http://10.64/146.240:8080. And we can see it says, welcome to the Wereville Christmas countdown. Oh, and it's shaking and it just switched to a bunny for a second. So we can see right there, it's been invaded. Now, this is good to know that, we're under attack, as they would say. Let's X that out for now. Let's go back to the CLI. So I'm going to actually cd back a directory. And it says that there are hundreds of CLI commands that we can use to view and manage our system. It says, for example, uptime is to see how long your system's been up for. So if we do uptime currently, we can see it's been up for 18 minutes, which is exact, and there's two users. We can also do the IPADDR command to show the IP address, which we can see should match the one up here, being the 10.64.146.240. We can also use PSOX to list all processes. That is a lot of processes that are running. So now we want to check to see the usernames and the hash passwords of users, such as McSkitty, by running cat/etc/shadow. However, it says we don't have root permission. And we can just verify that by typing in here cat/etc/shadow. See, we don't have permission. So we need to get permission, and we can do this by switching users with the su command. So we can do sudo su. So sudo su to switch users, which will switch us to the McSkitty home directory as the root account. After that, we can go and see who we are. So we can do who am I. And we already know we're root. I spelled who am I wrong. We can do who am I to see that we are root. Next, we want to cd into the /root. And we want to access the bash underscore history. So we're going to do cat period bash underscore history. So by doing this, we can see all the commands that we've entered previously. And we can see here that there are some curl ones. So we have one that says http /files.hopsec.thm/upload. We have red.hopsec.thm/report and flag.hopsec.thm. So we can see there's another flag right here until we meet again. At the bottom, of course, you guys know this is where we're going to input all of the commands and flags that we have found. So it's going to ask us, which command would be used to list a directory. So we can use ls to list directory files. It says, what flag did we find inside McSkitty's guide, which was this first one, the learning-Linux CLI one. It says, what command helped you filter the logs for failed logins? So we can use grep to filter logs. It's going to ask us for the flag we found inside the egg strike script. It's going to say, what command would you run to switch to the root user, which we just did, sudo su. So we can check that. And it's going to ask us for our final flag. So there should be 3 flags that we should have found inside this. And then it says, for those who consider themselves intermediate and want another challenge, it says check McSkitty's hidden note in the /home/McSkitty/documents to get access to the key for side quest 1. Now we can try that, right? So we're going to cd into the /home/McSkitty/documents. We can do ls to see there's a readme, please readme.txt. So we're going to cat into that. Readme please.txt. Oh, this is a long one. So it says, to whoever this finds, I had a short second when no one was watching. I used it. I managed to plant a few clues around the account. If you can get into the user below and look carefully, those 3 little Easter eggs will combine into a passcode that unlocks a further message that I encrypted in the /home/eddy_knap/documents directory. I didn't want the wrong eyes to see it. And it gives us the username and password for the user, eddy_knap, and then something is coming. Something is coming. It says there are 3 hidden Easter eggs that combine to form the passcode to open the encrypted vault. It says the clues, 1 for each egg. It says the first one, I ride with your session, not with your chest of files. Open the little bag your shell carries when you arrive. The second one states that the tree shows today. The rings remember yesterday. Read the ledger's old pages. Then third, it says, when pixies sleep, their tails sometimes whisper plain words. Listen to the tales. Find the fragments, join them in order, and use the resulting passcode to decrypt the message I left. Be careful, I had to be quick, and I left only enough to get help. McSkitty. So you can do this if you want. This is an extra challenge for a side quest, but for the most part, the main day is complete. Alright, so that was day 1. I hope you enjoyed this video so far. There are 24 more days or 23 more days to go. Alright, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.